Hey folks, how you doing? It's Richard E from Bikepacking Adventures. Before we quickly get into this video, there's quite a few bits I want to explain the background of why I've gone for a bike fit. Fingers. Earlier in the year I went for a bikepacking trip on the mountain bike, the King Alfred's Way, and afterwards my fingers were like crazy. I've still got it now where it's a bit of a numbness at right at the fingertips, but now most of it's gone away. That was partly caused by riding them, not just the mountain bike, but the road bike, which you can see in this video. That's where most of the damage was caused, so I needed to sort that out. I've also been having a lot of issues on my right leg as well, just really painful. So that was the purpose of going behind a bike fit, to increase my comfort and hopefully to remove the aches and pains from riding the Sonda, the Glebe road bike.
And have you got any goals or events or anything that you're working towards?
I've been to Dubai Mountains.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah.
hopefully that'll come off.
It looks wild, that route, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to just pop your shoes off for me and then come and have a lie down on the bed? So if you just have a lie down on your back with your head up at that end.
Yes.
So I'm just going to give your ankles, knees, hips all a little move around.
Yeah.
Are you about to sneeze?
No.
you look so
That's just the way I'm trying to look down.
So just try and stay nice and relaxed. Let me do the moving and just let me know if anything hurts, okay?
Okay.
So where have you just been on holiday?
The Netherlands.
Oh, nice.
10 days.
Riding, I take it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day, back to back.
Just bend your knee for me.
It's more or less 100 miles a day. Just a few short hits.
Reach down towards your toes.
Yeah, and they feel a good length for you. They are very slightly on the narrow side.
The thing I look at is size.
Yeah.
I don't really look at the width or anything. Perhaps that's something I should look out for.
Yeah. A lot of cycling shoes are quite narrow. It just seems to be a thing that cycling brands make narrow shoes. But these have got quite a lot more give in them than a lot of other cycling shoes do. They're normally a lot firmer, so it might just be that you've managed to kind of stretch these like you would with a pair of trainers.
Yeah.
But if your other shoes are a bit firmer and aren't able to stretch, then it could just be that you're just pressing on the outside.
Yeah.
So just find a cadence and power that's coming. Can you take that? Do you want to hop on the bike?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to pop a few stickers on you. So if you just stop with one of your feet at the front of the pedal straight for me. So just stop back up here. Lovely, and then bring your foot down to the bottom for me. Get there. Do you have any problems with your saddle at all?
I always feel like I'm changing it.
Okay, what, changing the saddle or changing the
Changing the height on it.
But not the actual saddle itself. So what we do is start at the bottom, so we'll start at your feet, and so we'll have a look at your cleats now, and then we'll move up and we'll pop the pressure map on and see where your pressure is and stuff.
Sorry, I should have come.
It's okay, don't worry. Just to a little bit.
Yeah.
So essentially, you were talking about flow. So we want to make sure that you've got equal flow on each side.
Yes.
So that your foot can go both in and out. So when you're pedalling, if you're pedalling at different speeds and power set, your pedaling dynamics will change very slightly. So we want to make sure that your foot can move both ways inside your shoe. But we want it to be as close to the head as your fifth metatarsal, which is where this little dot is. So that means that you're using like the ball of your foot to pedal. If you bring them really far forward, then you're kind of pedaling on your toes. And that's engaging your calves a lot more rather than sort of your quads and your glutes, which are obviously the big powerful muscles that you want to really be using when you're riding.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So do you want to just hop back on, I'll check those again. So is it quite flat round where you live?
If we go some distance to get some hills, that could be here in the Peak District or the Lincolnshire Wolds.
So it's quite hard to do yourself.
Yeah.
But essentially with SPD, like those mountain bike cleats, they've got so much flow in them. If you feel like you're sort of sitting on one side more than the other, just try rotating your cleat a little bit. Your cleat position on your report that we do at the end, and then we do it using these little tools. So you can always get yourself one of these and then you can replicate your cleat position on every shoe.
2018 maybe. Perhaps. You see start for here. Yeah, I don't know whether that's just cosmetic or it's going to actually make a difference.
Can you see there that your foot is really, you're pointing down along with your toe? So some people do pedal toe down more naturally than others, and that's
that's fine. But essentially we want your foot to be a little bit flatter than it is.
Okay.
Okay? And you've got quite tight hamstrings, so it looks like you're at the end of kind of your hamstring range here.
Yeah.
So what you're doing in order to get to the bottom of the pedal stroke is putting your foot down because your hamstrings can't extend anymore. Yeah, so it's not bad. You're sat right at the back of the saddle, which is where you would want you to be. You are a little bit sort of lopsided. Do you struggle with any sort of pain on one side more than the other? Or?
Bit of just sort of discomfort I have is after many hours on the bike and you just need to get off, you know.
Yeah. So if we put your saddle down a little bit, what that might do is just help you get a little bit more power through and be a little bit more comfortable as well. We've moved it, you're now 50-50, right and left.
Yeah.
So when you first got on, you were 54-46, and sat a bit more heavily on your left side. So obviously 50-50 is really what we want. And it just means that if you're going for a long distance, again, like I say, if you do anything in one position for a long time, if you're doing 20 hours of just sitting on the sofa, something's going to give, isn't it? We've got your saddle sorted. If you want to just lift your bum up, I'll take the pressure mat off. So yeah, this was your first one. So you can just see you were sat quite a lot more heavily here on that side, and your distribution left to right was 54-46. We've got this line here which shows you your pressure distribution, so you can just see it's over, not quite in the middle, whereas now it's right in the middle and you're 50-50.
Okay.
When you're riding for a really long time, you know, if you're riding for a couple of hours, you probably wouldn't notice, but if you're doing ultra distant stuff and you're riding for 8 hours a day at the weekend, that's when you're going to notice these things. Hands, and you can see that your shoulders kind of sitting right up here.
Okay.
Yeah? So what I'm going to do to start with is just tilt your bars just down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we might even end up taking some spaces out, but we'll do one thing at a time. So we'll just start with doing that. That might be why you're getting the numbness, because you're putting so much force through your hands and you're essentially kind of pushing yourself back a little bit. So what quite a lot of people do is to get themselves, because they don't want to be, if you don't want to be in a race position, for an endurance position, is sit the bike up quite high. But if you do it too high, you just end up pushing yourself back rather than making yourself comfy. So we'll just tilt it down a little bit first, because you've got these hoods sort of pointed quite high up, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
And see what that does. But yeah, have you ever moved the shifters at all?
Did you tell me would it be changed, like would it be replaced or something, one of them?
Yeah. Yeah, this is quite a large detail.
Yes.
This is quite a large difference. Okay, well this might feel a bit strange to you now, because yeah, you must have had one change, because you've got...
So one of the right was changed.
Yeah, you've got different hours on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just to try and take a little bit of pressure off your wrists.
Yeah.
So just have a sit on there, pedal that and see how that feels.
I feel like I'm leaning into this one, like it's a good thing.
You feel like you're leaning into it?
Yeah, like move down a bit more.
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah.
Like it's natural.
Essentially, when you first came in, you were sat really upright, but you were almost like pushing yourself back.
Yeah.
Rather than leaning down onto the bike. Now you've got a straight line here.
Yeah.
So when they're like straight like that, you actually have to sit out like this, which puts a lot of pressure through these structures here, which is where all your nerves go through your wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that should take some of that pressure off.
Yeah.
Are you right-handed as well?
Right-handed.
Yeah. So your left side's probably a little bit weaker too, just naturally. None of us are symmetrical if you're right-handed, you know. You've done everything that side all your life, so you're probably just putting a little bit extra pressure through your left side, which actually your body's not really used to, because your whole life you've been using the right side.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's now got an 80mm stem rather than a 90.
Yep.
So how does that feel?
That's reducing my reach?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you are somebody that likes to ride with the elbows locked out anyway, because even when you go back to 80, you kept your elbows the same, you just moved your shoulders back. Yeah? Yeah, that looks better. Does it feel like?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
Can you just see how like stretched you are?
Yeah.
And your shoulders like almost at your ears there?
Yeah, it's kind of hunched in it.
Yeah, and you're also just putting a bit more pressure through like your lower back because you're having to reach further. Whereas here, your back's just nice and flat. Which again, over a short ride, you might not have felt too much, but if you're doing really long stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. So what I'll do is just measure up your shifters just to make sure they're in the same place.
Yeah.
And I'll make it so that your right one's the same as your left one, because that's the one that you like. And we'll pop the top back on your bike and stuff, and then you can just have one more pedal to make sure you're happy. Have you got any other like bucket list ones that you would be wanting to do?
Well, let me tell you this story.
Go on.
When I did the Transcontinental,
Yeah.
I took 2 weeks off work.
Yeah.
And ended up being 4 weeks off work. And work wasn't happy.
Yeah.
So you've been employed.
Did you just
it was
kind of
difficult.
ring them and be like, by the way, I'm in the Alps.
Well,
so
they rang me, yeah, like, tell me. I know I emailed at one point. I said, oh, they can't talk because they've been watching me, right?
Yeah.
And there was confusion somewhere that they'd given me 2 weeks. As far as I know, it was 2 weeks. The dated it wrong was actually only an extra week. So, with bearing that in mind, I'd love to do the Tour Divide across America, but that would take more than 2 weeks.
Yeah. So they're not going to give you loads of time off again now?
Yeah, I don't feel like that conversation would go down very well. Yeah, that feels great.
Nice. Yeah, it looks loads better than when you first came in. If you look at the TV.
Yep.
So that's when you first came in. So you just put in a lot of pressure.
Okay. Let me just take that in. Yeah, that was good. Feels good, which is the main thing.
Excellent. So yeah, like I said, it will take some time to get used to.
Yeah.
Because you ride your bike so much, your brain will be so used to that on other position.
Don't change anything.
Yeah. Just try not to tinker with it.
Yeah.
Just ride it in this position for a bit and just let your brain get used to it. Yeah. Cool. Do you want to hop up and I'll just measure it all up for you?
Great, thank you.
I mean, everybody's different. I wouldn't say it was like hugely dramatic, but we did change quite a few things. You know, most people that come in, we do change things because they come in because they're uncomfortable and they need something changed into their bike.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really get people in who are super comfortable and have a perfectly fitting bike, otherwise they wouldn't be here. So yeah, but I think, especially like you're obviously doing pretty well with your saddle. That's usually, we see quite a lot of people who come in who are really uncomfortable on the saddle. That's a big reason why people come in to see us. But yeah, like I said before as well, because you ride your bike so much, it'll probably feel like a lot for you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were someone who just rode your bike like a couple of hours a week, it might not feel so different because your body's not so used to riding for such long distances on the bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hopefully I'm sure we'll start paying dividends once
yeah.
go there and ride it.
You just need to give it some time to get used to it. Don't expect to go out and be like, oh, this is the most comfortable thing ever.
Yeah.
Because you've ridden it so much, your brain it remembers that movement pattern, and that movement pattern was normal, and essentially that was a comfortable movement pattern for you, and that was your brain's normal. So when you change stuff, it takes a bit of time to get used to. You'll be using your muscles slightly differently. You know, you might feel a bit more like you're using your quads a little bit more, and that's no bad thing. That's what we want you to do. That's how you're going to get the most power and the most efficient pedal stroke, is using your quads rather than using your calves. They're a much bigger muscle.
Okay.
But yeah, just give it some time.
Well, thanks very much, Jen. That's
problem.
Hopefully that's going to pay off. So.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
It was lovely to meet you, and
you too.
good luck with all your big adventures.
Thank you. So it's been 5 weeks now since the bike fit at UK Bike Fit in Derbyshire, and just a bit of an update really how I'm getting on. What you saw there was me getting fitted to the Sonder. That's my road bike. Since then I've done 3 all-dax distances, a 200 and 2 150s, and up to now it's been absolutely fantastic, no niggles whatsoever. It's been really, really good, really, really comfortable, and just getting a lot more better performance on the bike as well as comfort. Just the pedal stroke is a lot better, and as you saw in the videos there's quite a big adjustment to the HUD and the brakes and everything like that, so and the numbness is on that bike, it's just completely disappeared. I just feel a lot more comfortable on it. Also, after the bike fit today on the Sonder, I had the gravel bike with me as well, and Jen sorted that out as best as she could and identified a few things that needed changing on there as well. And on that bike, I've been out for a couple Audaxes again, gravel Audaxes. Well, so I've done, well in excess of 40,000 kilometres in the last 5 weeks since I've had the bike fit. The bike fit was absolutely worth it for me. It made a really big difference to my riding style, comfort and performance on the bike. When the bike fit was over, I received all the dimensions and measurements and things like that in a handy PDF. I now need to transfer those onto the mountain bike. Note to me, I've already been out on the mountain bike a few handful of times and I've not transferred those across. I might end up going back to UK Bike Fit and taking my mountain bike along. I don't know yet, but I can't see it being wildly different because I am quite comfortable on that setup as well. And just to make it clear, I did actually pay my good money for that bike fit. The only thing I got thrown in was the saddle mapping, which I highly recommend. As you saw there, that's a really invaluable tool to help you get the right saddle. Lucky for me, I didn't need to change a saddle or anything that I've been using. Just one moment. This is the actual saddle I use, the Charge spoon. And why have I got a brand new one here? Well, I've bought this for the mountain bike because the mountain bike has actually been causing me issues over the last couple of rides getting comfy. So I've bought yet another Charge spoon saddle. So I've got one on all 4 of my bikes now. Coming back to my gravel bike, just briefly before I end this video, that was the bike that I used for my bikepacking trip through the Netherlands. Jen did suggest I go with narrow handlebars and reduce the stem. I can't really do much about the stem because it's got quite a narrow stem and already, but I'm probably going to at some point in the new year reduce the handlebar length just to reduce the reach and make it a little more comfortable still. But I don't have major issues on that bike, so there's no urgency to get that corrected. But on the road bike, which you saw in this video, I had major problems. Big thanks once again to Jen at UK Bike Fit and sorting out. Did a fantastic job. And if you think you might need a bike fit, I'll drop a link down to UK Bike Fit down in the comments below. So if you want to go check them out, the link's right down there. Once again, I hope you found this video useful. I hope you have. It took a lot of editing to bring this video together. And for me, take care. I shall see you in the next one soon. Bye bye.